Hello and welcome to the Magic Online Spellgrounds Guide. My name is Joe Dyer, and I am part of the Magic Online Creator Program, as well as the author of This Week in Legacy over at MTG Goldfish. This guide aims to familiarize you with the basics of Legacy Dimir Tempo. At its core, Dimir Tempo in Legacy is a deck that seeks to enact a fair game plan of strong threats, backed up by counter magic, as well as land disruption to keep the opponent off balance, while it attacks the opponent's life total down to 0. You may be familiar with examples of this type of deck in Modern, such as Dimir Murktide. Legacy Tempo decks often revolve around the existence of 3 primary cards. Force of Will, Daze, and Wasteland are the bread and butter of Legacy Tempo. Usage of these cards is backed up by cards such as Brainstorm and Ponder in order to locate them. A common play pattern for Dimir Tempo specifically could be to play out Underground Sea on turn 1 and cast Nethergoyf, and then hold up Daze to stop a spell on your opponent's turn 1. If your opponent played a dual land to cast that spell, next turn you could deploy Wasteland to destroy that land. This can set your opponent back a turn, while also growing the Nethergoyf to be able to swing in for damage. As noted, these decks also play cards like Brainstorm and Ponder. Both of these are extremely skill-testing cards that can be daunting for players newer to Legacy to resolve. Understanding these cards is crucial to understanding how to play blue decks in Legacy. For Brainstorm specifically, it's important to remember that the card works best with effects that shuffle your library, such as fetch lands, as you are often trying to put back cards that you don't want to draw. Casting a Brainstorm in a situation where you don't have one of these effects can lead to what is known as being Brainstorm locked, where you have 2 turns of drawing cards that simply aren't needed. With Ponder, it's important to remember that Ponder can shuffle your library. It's a card to use when you know you need something specific, like a land or a threat. If the top 3 cards do not have what you are looking for, it's okay to use Ponder's ability to shuffle your library so that you're not possibly drawing 3 cards that you don't need over the course of the game. One of the newer play patterns for these decks is to utilize Brainstorm with Tameo Inquisitive Student to flip the card immediately. Sometimes it can be beneficial to hold the Brainstorm and choose to flip Tameo with it if the opponent attempts to interact with her in some fashion. For example, if the opponent attempts to lightning bolt the Tameo, Brainstorm in response to flip her can force the opponent to have wasted a removal spell. Dimir Tempo's sideboard may look scattered from an outside view, but that is because the deck's cantrips make up for not only playing 1 to 2 cards of an effect, and many of the cards in the sideboard overlap in some fashion, or attack an opposing strategy on different angles to force different responses. Playing against Cephalid at Breakfast, for example, you may want cards like Grafdigger's Cage to stop their Dread Return game plan, but you may also want Consign to Memory to be able to counter a Thassa's Oracle trigger. If you're playing against something like Beans, Harbinger of the Seas can significantly disrupt their mana production and ability to leverage effects like Leyline Binding. These are just different examples of different tactics that you can use to sideboard while playing this deck. Thank you for watching this edition of the Magic Online Spellground Guides. I hope that you enjoy playing Legacy on Magic Spellgrounds, and keep checking out all the great content provided by the Magic Online team. Once again, my name is Joe Dyer, and have a great day.